Okay. Um, for this reflection, I'm going to be using the Gibbs reflective cycle to kind of guide me. Uh, I had some stuff written down, but I would rather just communicate it straight off. Uh, but I picked the participating video option number one. Um, I interviewed some special ed teachers. I interviewed some general ed teacher. I interviewed a technology teacher. I interviewed a coach. Um, so really, I tried to get that cross section of staff to try to get an impression of how um, they saw the campus. You know, communicating how, or excuse me, how they saw the campus acknowledged, recognized, and celebrated contributions from teachers. But I'm going to go ahead and read exactly what some of the questions I asked them. I asked how the campus acknowledged, recognized, and celebrated those who implemented strategies in support of the campus vision. Um, uh, so let's look at the. Let me go through all the questions. How are these contributions and achievements effectively communicated to the staff, students, and community? How does the campus use innovative thinking, risk-taking, or failures as a learning experience to promote the campus vision? What processes are used in improving morale, which moves the campus toward the realization of that vision? So those were my questions that kind of guided my interviews with the teachers. So Gibbs reflective cycle. We start off with description of what happened. Well, I conducted these interviews, and pretty much the results I got were what I expected. There's some teachers who felt that the vision was confusing. They didn't know what it was. They had no idea if they were forced to answer it at gunpoint, they wouldn't be able to tell you. But for others, you know, the campus vision was definitely expectations that were set. The coach that I interviewed, he communicated how this campus really stood out to him as being one who really communicated and celebrated staff members for, you know, all kinds of different achievements. Some of my interviews were shorter and a little more cynical, and some were allowed staff members to really talk to me about what they saw and how they saw the campus communicating celebrations and recognitions. Feelings. What were you thinking and feeling? What struck me first when I was doing these interviews is because the first ones I did, there was the staff members felt completely like that the administration was not doing everything they could have done to recognize those staff. And I think it's definitely an important learning experience for me as a future educator that it helps make things crystal clear, but at the same time there's always going to be different opinions. There's always going to be people who have different perspectives on how you're leading and how you. So it's really important that you take as many opportunities as possible to celebrate all kinds of different contributions, because there may be small contributions that are overlooked, and just by recognizing those, you can change a lot about the culture of the campus. Let's see, what I also thought was we have a lot of involvement at my campus. I think my campus has done a good job of encouraging and really getting teachers involved in committees that take the steps needed to be involved in that vision. Evaluation, what was good and bad about the experience? It was definitely a good learning experience. Like I said, it gave me some insight on what kind of stuff I'm going to face as a future administrator. There's always going to be people who have different opinions and see things differently, and there's going to be people who don't like what you're doing or don't think that what you're doing is really that positive. But I think that makes it even more important that in terms of setting up your vision, you have a plan and you stick to the plan, because that's what really made my campus administration, I think, really, really effective, was because in the beginning of their implementation of how the principal wanted to run things, there was certainly there's a portion of the staff who didn't like it, but he stuck to the vision, and he stuck to wanting to make sure that college readiness was really a point of emphasis for him. Is it still recording? Okay. I think what was bad about the experience is sometimes it's hard to keep questions very specific and expect really good, rich, informative answers. When you're following a script to interview staff members, I think it's important to survey them on a variety of questions about whatever topic you're investigating. So in this case, the main topic was, how does the campus acknowledge, recognize, and celebrate the contributions of students, staff, parents, and community members, and how do they support innovative thinking? I think it's important when you're interviewing people to try to get a very open answer. Analysis. What else can you make of the situation? When I had decided that I was going to do this participating video option number one, I didn't focus on how. I just zoomed in on how does the campus recognize staff and community. I didn't think about students, but our campus does a really good job of recognizing students. We have we have a store, we have a merit store for students who any teacher can go in and give and award a student points because they saw them being kind in the hallway, or they saw, this student really who was a first generation college kid. They have so many ways that they celebrate the students, and I think that only serves to show how the campus vision really did apply. College readiness and celebrating staff and community also went down to the students, and there's so many ways. I think the technology teacher and the coach both communicated that there's many ways that they recognize the students as well. So I really found that if this was a grade that we were trying to assign our campus, my campus definitely got an A in this one. So I was, I don't know that I expected it to be so good, but really after analysis of it really, my campus is really high functioning in terms of that. Conclusion. What else would you have done? I'd have probably had some subset. If I could do the whole thing over, I'd have some subset questions and a little more open-ended questions that I could have considered. If time wasn't an issue for anybody, it'd have been nice to have just an open forum, because when you get teachers together around other teachers, then that's when you really start to see some sparks fly, and really those opinions do come out. So I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff that even my smaller interviews missed, and clear picture would be would have been better if I had a a large group setting. I think that would have done well too. So overall, this was a very good learning experience. I enjoyed interviewing the staff members. I enjoyed kind of taking an objective third-person view of my campus and how they function and how they fit in with these goals. So, thank you.